Hey everyone, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to be unpacking typical group challenges in inclusive youth work.
So if you've spent literally any time facilitating, well, you know the scene. Picture a busy youth room. It is loud, it's active, the energy is super high. And then suddenly a very familiar situation unfolds right in front of you. Maybe one participant completely dominates the conversation, just shutting everyone else down. Or perhaps a tight-knit clique forms in the corner, and they're visibly excluding someone. Or maybe the gray zone rules you set up are being actively tested. So how do you handle these difficult moments? I want to validate right out of the gate that these aren't just disruptions. Managing these dynamics is essentially the core of what we do. They're absolutely crucial moments of practice, where inclusion is either built or it's lost. To navigate this, we really need a core paradigm shift. Challenging behavior is not only something to stop, it is often information. Think about it. In inclusive youth work, a difficult behavior is rarely just intentional malice. It's actually a form of communication. It's a signal pointing to some underlying reality. Maybe that young person is experiencing sensory overload or anxiety, a deep need for connection, or maybe just simple confusion about your expectations. Our primary job isn't just to discipline or shut the behavior down. Our job is to decode the information it's giving us. Think about the everyday realities we face on the ground. You've got the dominant voice, where one single participant shapes the entire room. You see social contagion, where emotions and rule breaking just spread like wildfire. Then there's group resistance, which honestly often just reflects a hidden fear of failure. There's splitting, where young people might view some staff as the good ones and others as bad, and the really quiet, heartbreaking exclusion of outcasts. We also navigate super complex situations regarding sexuality and boundaries, hygiene-related issues, gray zone rule-breaking, and even self-endangerment. The crucial takeaway here is this: we absolutely must name the specific situation and the dynamic at play without ever labeling the young person as a problem. Okay, so when these intense moments happen, our natural human instinct is just to react, usually out of frustration. But instead, we can lean on a highly effective, concrete tool. We call it the 4-question response map. Think of this as your default mental checklist to help you respond calmly. First question: what is the risk? Like, is physical or emotional safety actually being compromised right now? Second, what need may be behind the behavior? Are we looking at a demand for attention, a trauma trigger, or maybe just overwhelming stress? Third, what boundary is needed in this exact moment? And finally, fourth, what inclusive response protects safety and dignity without resorting to public shame or exclusion? Let's actually ground this theory in reality and walk through a specific scenario. Imagine you are facilitating a group sitting around a table, and you're planning an upcoming youth event. One participant, let's just call him Alex, speaks first. He speaks the absolute longest, and he loudly interrupts anyone else who's trying to share an idea. He leans in and dictates, "I already know the best idea. Let's just do mine." Right away, you can feel the energy in the room shift. The quieter young people look down, someone rolls their eyes, and they just stop trying to contribute entirely. Right in that exact second, you've got a choice. You can react or you can respond. A quick reaction might be to loudly say, "Alex, stop talking so much and let others speak." But let's think about the impact of that. That kind of public confrontation can lead to instant shame, defensiveness, or it might cause Alex to just completely disengage. Instead of that quick reaction, we want to formulate a structured response. We hit pause, and we run Alex's behavior through our 4-question response map to keep him connected while saving the dynamic of the whole group. So, step 1 is mapping the risk. We have to identify exactly what is being harmed before we step in. Actually, looking at this scenario, nobody is in physical danger, but the emotional safety and the equity of participation, those are severely at risk. The quieter young people are literally disappearing from the conversation. The atmosphere is tense. If you let Alex just continue unchecked, trust in you as a fair facilitator is going to plummet across the room because the other youth will feel totally overlooked. Knowing this risk tells us exactly what our intervention has to achieve. We absolutely must reestablish fair participation. And that brings us to setting the boundary and delivering the inclusive response. Setting a boundary for the dominant voice isn't about accepting the unsafe behavior. It's about enforcing turn-taking while keeping emotional safety totally intact. You, as the youth worker, really have to model regulation here. You might say calmly, "Alex, I love your enthusiasm and your great ideas, but right now we are going to use a talking piece so everyone gets a turn to speak." See what happened there? You validate his energy, which addresses his need for visibility, but you establish a really firm, clear limit. You protect Alex's dignity while fiercely protecting the participation of everyone else in the room. Ultimately, managing group challenges isn't about achieving perfect harmony at all times. That's impossible anyway. It's about navigating the messy, real, human moments with true intentionality. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a quick, provocative reflection. Think ahead to your next youth session. When that inevitable difficult moment pops up, and it will, how will your next intervention protect both safety and dignity? I really encourage you to take this 4-step framework, assessing risk, need, boundary, and inclusive response, and make it your absolute go-to mental checklist. By doing that, you're literally transforming the most stressful parts of your job into powerful opportunities to build lasting trust.